Sasha and Suzy from Women's Fight News.
Hey.
We're back. It's been ages.
Yeah, long time.
Busy people.
Sorry?
We're busy people.
Yeah, so much has happened and we'd be busy lives, but we're back. And so I hope lots of people are watching. We'll get lots of interaction, lots of comments. Yeah, get
After
ready.
this weekend, big weekend. So we had to come back, couldn't we?
Yeah, what weekend. What weekend for boxing. That fight, I just loved every second of it. I mean, you being there, what was the atmosphere like? Because, I was loving it at home, let alone there.
Yeah, it was. I remember thinking, I don't know if anything could ever top Madison Square Garden last year with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. And loads of people asked me, like, was it better? But it was so different that you can't really compare them. I think the weirdest thing for me was Chantelle Cameron getting booed, which I knew would happen, but it's still so weird. Like, she's not a person that would normally be booed because she's so nice. But Katie Taylor's ring walk was unbelievable. A little bit too long if I was to complain, but the atmosphere, and obviously she had the singer out and you could just see, like, where I was sitting, it was just, I think I was the only non-Irish person where I was sitting, and everyone was like on the edge of the seat, and as soon as she walked out, I can't even explain what it was like. It was just, she is literally like the Queen of Ireland. Like, the excitement was unbelievable. And I must say, her ring walk, it's the first time I have seen her, like, I don't know, like, interactive in a way. Like, even in Madison Square Garden, she done that really slow ring walk, didn't she? And that was quite special. But this one, she was like pacing up and down. She was singing.
Yeah.
I've never ever seen it. She sang like the whole song. I wish she would have got on the mic. That would have been interesting. But yeah, it was very special to I think to witness that just on its own, and to just hear the noise when her name was announced. I mean, I don't know. I don't even take away boxing. I think many athletes would get that reception. It was definitely very special.
Yeah.
Very
And like
enjoyable.
special on the TV as well. So like it did come across on the TV, which is great.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think the arena was perfect. I think obviously everyone wanted Croke Park, and hopefully that'll still happen in the future. I think out of the three options, 3 Arena was the smallest capacity, but the shape of it is really good because it kind of, like, obviously you've got the like stage behind where obviously they do the ring walk. You've got the ring, and then you've got it like curved where everyone else sits. So I think I was fortunate to be able to sit on the side where you can just see everything. You can see obviously the ring straight there, and you can see all the audience. But I think the shape of it, I don't know, can't explain unless you were there, but it made it that, like, extra bit special for some reason. It wasn't like your standard venue.
Yeah.
And of course it's a shame that it wasn't at Croke Park. I definitely think it would have sold
Yeah.
at Croke Park. But we'll talk about the rematch in a little bit. But yeah, I loved it from start to finish. Loved it. I got there for the first. I was there about an hour before the first fight. I was the only person in there.
You were in Dublin from like 6 in the morning or something, weren't you?
Yeah, not gonna lie, it was a long day. It was a long day, and I was flagging about 2 p.m. because you know what I'm like. I'm like in bed by like 6, so I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I think once you're there and the atmosphere, because it was busy right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, it was good, and like by time, the 7 p.m. fight started, it was about 3/4 full, which is, as we all know, really rare. Normally it's like people just stroll in on the main fight.
Yeah.
So, like, the atmosphere, yeah, it was just unbelievable. It was really, really good. What were your thoughts on it from watching it at home? Because you weren't
Yeah.
obviously as fortunate as me.
Yeah. No, I loved it. Like I said, it did feel special. It was presented beautifully on the screen as well. It felt special. It felt epic with Katie's ring walk. And yeah, what a fight. I just loved it. Was one of those fights where you can, some fights you can draw out and you're like, oh, same old rounds. This was just literally every second I was loving. I was just thinking, yeah, I just wanted to continue. Yeah, and what a fight. And Chantelle's performance was the perfect performance against Katie. I think Katie and her team were a little bit surprised at the end with the result, but lots of people, there's quite a mixed bag of reactions, wasn't there, at home? Like, I saw some people get really wide to Chantelle, some people saying it was close, some people saying it was a draw. I think you said
So I had it 7-3 on the night. I still have it 7-3, but I've switched 2 of my rounds, because it's very different, obviously, sitting there, and I must say the crowd is very influential in the sense of, not for
Yeah.
me, but, there were times that, because I'm sitting very close to the ring and you can see Katie is throwing a lot, but it's only like arms and gloves, but the
Yeah.
crowd are cheering like she's knocked her out.
Yeah.
And you can see how if you've not got the right angle, so then when they're on the back side of the ropes and my view isn't as good, I can just see Katie throwing punches and the crowd cheering. So I've given her a round, and then when I've watched it back, I was like, oh, she didn't land a lot. And then I've switched. So you can see, I mean, I'm always the first to criticize judges, but you can see where it's quite difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes the best view is at home on the screen in a way.
Yeah.
You haven't got the ropes or anything in the way, nothing like that. So
Yeah.
I scored it like 6-4. So I scored it quite close. But I've only watched it the once, actually. I haven't rewatched it again.
I even think I'm generous with 7-3. There's only one we'll go through the rounds in a minute, but there's only one round I can 100% give Katie. The other 2 I gave her, I think, were close. But the round Chantelle won, she won convincingly.
Yeah.
I think that's my opinion. I know Clarissa Shields, I think, had it close, didn't she, herself and some other pros? Say again.
I think she thought Katie won.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So I suppose it's, I don't know, maybe what you like. I'm not too sure. I have no idea, but I'm going with 7-3 per se. I mean, 6-4 is fair. Obviously, 2 judges scored at 6-4. No idea where the 5-5 come from.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the right person won, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm so made up for it. Like, you did a really nice tweet afterwards about, how much she deserved it and everything. And she has been so undervalued. It's just so lovely to see. She's been up against it. She's never been the poster girl, particularly for Matchroom. And yet she's done everything. Every single hurdle they put away, she's achieved it.
Yeah.
And more now.
And more. It's always fascinated me, and I'm still very convinced that if Katie Taylor hadn't put that Instagram post out, that fight wouldn't have been made. Because I've just got this feeling that when that Amanda Serrano fight fell through and they all got on a call and Katie said, I'll have Chantelle, Eddie, I'm just in my head, I've got a feeling Eddie said no, and she thought, well, fuck you, because I'm going to go on Instagram and I'm going to make the fight myself. I just don't think he ever wanted that fight. The fight was meant to happen years ago. And all you ever used to hear, and still until this fight, was, oh, well, when Chantelle's earned a spot, when she's done this, when she's done that. I mean, she was mandatory about 100 years ago. That didn't happen. You know what I mean? And then, she's went on, she's done everything she's supposed to do. Then she was meant to fight for undisputed. Then Callie Reese obviously was ill, so that changed it all. And then she's put her belts on the line again for Jessica Cook to come down. Then she's put them on the line again for Katie Taylor. I don't know who would do that. No. Not many other champions, especially against Katie Taylor in a hometown.
Yeah.
With the way judging goes, I think that's incredibly brave.
Being treated like the big side at every single point, even though one with the belts.
That's the thing, and that's what I really liked about Chantelle. She's taken that. Obviously, Katie Taylor put that Instagram out, and it was like days later it was signed. She wasn't asked about who's on the poster first, who ring walks first. She spoke a lot in the build-up, saying that she understands because it's Katie's homecoming. She was so respectful of, she knew Katie, because Katie did deserve that opportunity to have all of that. But again, I think a lot of other fighters' ego would get in the way, and they go, no, I want this, and the fight would have easily not been made. Yeah. It shows the confidence she had in herself. She knew she'd win that fight.
Yeah.
So I am thrilled. She did win it. Someone else had it 6-4. Yeah, I don't know where people are getting this extra round from, but let's start with round. I'm telling you now, I have watched this twice now, and I just can't find 4 rounds to give Katie. Do you remember which round you gave her?
I can't remember the exact rounds, but if we go through them all, hopefully it'll come back to me. Yeah. But I know the first round was quite controversial because a lot of people gave it to Chantelle.
Yeah.
And for some reason I gave it to Katie, so I need to watch it back. So maybe that's where my extra round came from.
Yeah, when you obviously we're texting as the fight's going on, and you said that you gave the first one to Katie, and I was like, well, she's not watching it properly. I was like, I don't know what you're watching. You're watching a different fight, I think. But see, this is why now I've got a very just a short clip of each round. Obviously, I can't do the whole round, but for me, this is just a little clip that I think demonstrates why I gave Chantelle the round. Of right from the get-go, she's taken control. She's dominated the center of the ring, pushed Katie back. Katie spent the majority of that fight on the back ropes under pressure.
Yeah.
And I think Chantelle come out starting. Now, don't get me wrong, Katie's obviously landed. But for me, that was the perfect start to the round. Chantelle, I think, asserted her dominance and her game plan right from the get-go.
So I think what I liked about Chantelle, the fact that she looked more powerful. She looked like more damaging with a shot. I know that people have made comments saying Chantelle's face looked more damaged at the end, but I think just sometimes some people mark up more than others.
I can tell you exactly why. Because she was getting head-butted every 2 seconds, and I'm shocked there was no point deductions because some of it was pretty poor.
I was waiting for a split actually with one point with those.
Some of it, there was one time, I can't remember what round, but I was like, wow. I think Katie was exhausted. Chantelle's putting, a weight on her, and literally just goes bam, and just headbutts her. And I do think that could have been a point deduction.
But yeah, she looked stronger. She hurt more with the shots, like you said, those body shots. Whereas I think Katie did what Katie does best. She had little flurries, which were so accurate at times, but they'd never hurt Chantelle. No. Good little flurries. And I think probably where I gave her some of the rounds is because she had some more of these little flurries. But it was always Chantelle was, like you say, the more sort of powerful, the more assertive, the more dominant.
Yeah. And like someone's put here, there was a flurry at the end of the first round for Katie, and there was. But and this is where I think people might have given Katie the round, but you can't. It's a 2-minute round, so you can't give someone a round because they've had like a success in 10 seconds at the end. But the problem is you always remember the end of the round rather than the beginning. So I think that could be why, because for me, she did have flurries, but it wasn't super accurate. There was a lot where it was landed on gloves, landed on arms. And yeah, I have to give Chantelle that round, I think. But maybe that's where it swayed for the 6-4, that first round, because there's nothing else that I see. But you know where I'm like, I'm adamant. So that was the first round. We'll go to round 2. I actually gave this, if it works, to Chantelle on the night, but I've swapped it. I've given it to Katie.
Really? I gave this one to Chantelle.
We agree on nothing, Suzy.
No.
Now, that was quite nice from Katie there with the straight. Now, I think the reason, so I think on this round, Chantelle shows she found her range quicker because she was using her jab. She's got such a stiff jab, hasn't she? It's like, you can tell it's powerful. She was feinting a lot. But this is where I thought Katie landed the bigger shots in this round. I think she got through a little bit with a couple of straights, a couple of 1-2s. So it swayed me a tiny bit. So we're opposite. See, we'd be useless judges.
I'm going to have to rewatch it because obviously you scored it the same as me on the night.
Yeah.
Swapped it. So I've not rewatched it. So I'd have to rewatch it and see. But on the night, yeah, Chantelle for me, it was that round.
Yeah, I think, again, probably a close one. This is what I'm saying. The rounds I've given Katie, they're quite close. But I just thought, again, it comes down to accuracy. Like, I think Chantelle looked like she was throwing more, but when I've watched it, I think Katie landed a little bit more that round. And this is where it's hard. This is where people like pursuing is always a nightmare to watch because they throw that much. You're not always sure what's exactly landing. But yeah, at the minute, we'd have it 1-1. Either way, we've got the rounds.
I think this is hazy, but I think the next one was Chantelle as well for me.
So I've given this next one to Chantelle because this is where I think her tactics come into, like, you could really see what she was doing. And something she done well all fight was the combinations. So she had that like 1-2, that left hook to the body that followed. And I loved it because she was getting so accurate with the 1-2 to the head. So Katie was getting that really high guard. And then she'd just whip in that nasty left hook to the body.
Oh, those body.
God, they were just brutal. And then she was setting up the right hand very nice. She was doing that double jab right hand. So I think there's a couple of clips of this where she was doing it in this round.
Yeah.
The right hook though.
Katie did not like those body shots.
She hated them, but she was having to keep that guard so high because them, you know, even them straights, they're getting through. And I think that just showed Chantelle's power all throughout it, is that these shots that typically wouldn't usually just hit gloves, I think they're that powerful. It just kept, a guard just kept breaking. And I think that's down to power. And I think she was a bit tired as the fight went on. But for me, that was when, in that round 3, I was like, Chantelle's so confident. I just knew this was going to be, because you could just see she had the game plan. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't convinced that round 3 that Katie knew, not that she didn't know what she was doing, but I felt like she didn't have like a concrete game plan. And I don't think she did, because I think it started to get a little bit ragged then. So this is round 4.
Yeah, I felt like Chantelle then got into a stride, but I can't remember. I gave Katie another round around either 4 or 5. I can't remember which one it was I gave her.
I definitely didn't give her round 4. This is where I think the hair become an issue. I'm sure it was just at the end then, because that's something we have to talk about. Next round, it's an even bigger issue. For me in this round, this is where I definitely gave it to Chantelle. I gave the next few to Chantelle. I think Katie started to panic a little bit. And there was quite a few times where Katie herself's going to the body, but she's so far out of range. And then she's leaving herself open again. And I think it was just this panic of like, she lost all them, you know, that hand speed we see from Katie, and, you know, the high volume of punches, all these combos. She went a bit to like single shots, which we're not used to seeing from Katie. And they were potentially shots at the wrong, like her shot selection wasn't great.
No.
And I don't know if it was just a pure panic of, oh my God, this is not what I expected.
I always think she's a little bit of a headhunter anyway, isn't she, Katie?
Yes.
So
I definitely gave her that round. Now, as we saw in that round, her hair come out. So obviously she had braids. If you remember early on in her career, she never had braids. She had ponytails.
Yeah.
But some of her hair would stray. But it was never that bad. Yeah. And then the last few fights, she's had braids and it's been fine.
But no.
Well, what a, like, yeah, whoever done Katie's hair should never be left to do it again.
Be a Katie fight without her fighting with it all in her face, because I just associate that with Katie.
Yeah, I think she struggles, doesn't she? She's always struggled with her hair. Like Chantelle Cameron had her hair in them braids for days and she slept in them and they didn't look out of place. So what I would suggest for Katie in the next fight is she finds Chantelle's hair lady or man and gets the same person.
But I couldn't help but feel for Chantelle in that moment, because she keeps fighting people with like wardrobe malfunctions, because it was her that had the lady with that had like the nip slip. And now with the hair as well, I'm thinking, oh, here we go. There's like always fighting.
Yeah. And it was obviously off-putting for Katie. She's obviously like dabbing it away. She's flicking it back, you know, like Justin Bieber flicking the hair everywhere. But it must have been a bit like annoying for Chantelle as well, because I just kept looking at her hair and I wonder if Chantelle was like, oh shit, look what's happened to her. Like, I wonder if she lost her concentration a little bit, because it was a disaster. It wasn't. So we'll see it in the next clip. I mean, we'll just start with the hair, because I mean, if you can, I don't know. Yeah, see, it's like her whole left or right.
Ellie Scottnick wrote on Twitter, which made me laugh, saying that she's giving her corner permission to shave her hair off if it ever becomes a use.
I saw that, and it's so true. Like, because as well, she's going back to a corner with I think 3 guys who probably have no idea. I mean, they're not going to rebraid her hair, are they? And when she went back on the prior round, they just hadn't done it properly. Thank God it got done properly.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a disaster for her. But again, like, look where she is. Chantelle's in the center of the ring, forcing, you know, using the jab to push her back onto the ropes, get close in, and then land all of these hooks to the body. It's just the perfect game plan. It was so, so good. I mean, I know the hair was being an issue, and as you can see, but I think regardless, Chantelle's game plan here was just so good.
Yeah,
And the fact that she can execute it.
yeah, that moving from body shots to the head, the different shots. She just didn't know, like you said, where to protect face, body.
That's it. I mean, and that's what I think what she's done so well compared to Katie is like she's forcing with Chantelle, obviously, like I said before, she's going to them straight shots, so she's forcing her to have that high guard and then opens up and then she's like you've just said, she doesn't know where to go.
Yeah.
So again, just another great round for Chantelle. It's another round I have to give her. Surely you do as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I can't remember the exact rounds I've given, but it was definitely I gave the first the first to Katie, and I gave the last one to Katie as well.
Can you tell that I've picked the clips that suit my opinion as well? So that's why I'm the one who's going to look right. Right, round 6. This was the best round for me for both fighters. This round reminded me very much of how the Taylor Serrano fight ended, where they're kind of in the center of the ring or a space in the ring, and they're just punching shit out of each other. It was very, very entertaining.
I love this bit.
Yeah, this is what we love to see. And they both had loads of success in this round, without a doubt. But again, it's them short shots. There's a couple more here. Where, I mean, it's the hand speed as well from Chantelle. Like everyone speaks about Katie's, but it's just so good from both. This is probably a tough round to score, but again, I think Chantelle had the success on them short hooks, and this is where we start to see the uppercut come into play, which ended up being really successful for Chantelle Cameron as well in the fight. But again, a close one. It shows how tough they both are as well, because they both got hit with big punches in that round.
It could be one of those rounds that I gave. Like I said, I've given 4 to Katie, so a couple from the close round these that I gave Katie.
You're just giving them away for free at the minute, aren't you? No, again, like I think when you watch the whole round as well, I think you'll see there. Again, I go down to accuracy. It's Chantelle landing more, not just arms and gloves and the irrelevant part. She's landing more significant shots, and I think this is where she had landed some really, really nice uppercuts that snuck in. But again, if you've not got the right angle, you'll miss it. And this is where you can see when you're sitting ringside. I didn't realise how many uppercuts Chantelle threw in that fight, because they were so short when obviously they're in together. You don't see them all.
Yeah.
And this is where that really come into play. And then she landed with some lovely, really short hooks as well when they were holding, because there was a lot of holding, especially as we got a little bit later on. I think someone was getting tired. There did seem to be. And again, I think there's an argument that could have been a warning potentially. I mean, Katie's had a point taken off her before for holding. It's something she can be guilty of, but this is.
It would be interesting to know what would have happened at 3-minute rounds, wouldn't it? I think if, like you say, a bit of tiredness more coming into play, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always a different fight then, isn't it? Because obviously Chantelle's intensity would change, but I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute because everyone's commented on how Katie didn't look the same and she looked tired.
Yeah.
I've got a theory on that, obviously. But this is round 7. And again, this is a situation where footwork's not the same as at Katie's. She's stuck on the ropes. Again, credit to Chantelle, by the way.
Falling forward, isn't she?
Yeah. And she just, it's like she's not got that spring in her step, not able to move. Like you say, she's falling forward, she's off balance, but she's just, as you say at the end, just desperate to hold on.
Yeah.
To just, like suffocate Chantelle, stop her from throwing. And something we're more used to seeing is Katie being able to kind of pivot away a little bit, create space for herself.
And every round that you've shown a highlight of, there's body shots. I'd love to know how many body shots Chantelle threw.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that definitely, and I think, people are saying about, again, we'll talk about it in a bit, but like Katie's age, why aren't we talking about the fact that she's just being punched so many times to the body? Of course, she's going to slow down over 10 Very
Yeah.
intense round. So now this for me, this is round 8 coming up. This is Katie's best round. So this is the one where I 100% give Katie the round. This is what I thought we'd see more of, where, well, Holden, which we did see a lot of, but Katie was just a lot more aggressive. She was coming forwards, aggressive, didn't stop punching, like we can see here. So see where she's on the back ropes, and then she's pushed herself forwards, pushing Chantelle back. She didn't let herself get bullied by Chantelle.
Yeah.
But this was really the only round I saw Katie do that, which is a shame, really. See, that's a nice shot.
Yeah.
And there's the hand speed we're used to seeing, like 4 or 5 punches. That just didn't happen at all. But when it did happen, she did have success, because obviously she is quick. It's hard to defend against that. So for me, that was definitely Katie's best round without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, that would have been one I gave as well.
You're just saying that because I've said it. But again, it shows, that argument of, is she slowing down? Well, she's had her best round on round 8.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think there's always a lot of, what did Katie do wrong, not what Chantelle done well, because she has come out on round 8 and had her best round. Move on to round 9,
which I would have given Chantelle.
Yeah, so I've given this one to Chantelle, because Chantelle then kind of mirrored what Katie done in round 8, and then fast combos, pushing her back again on the ropes. Like there's another hook. I mean, that left hook is horrendous. It just looks so sore, doesn't it, when it lands? But I must say, Katie, she's so tough. She showed that against Amanda Serrano, and she showed her again, I think, in this fight, how tough she is.
The heart she's got for the sport.
Yeah. Like, she didn't necessarily look hurt, but she would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Chantelle's far too powerful, far too strong. She would have been hurt, but she didn't make it look obvious. I'm sure if you were up close and personal, she might have winced a couple of times, because who wouldn't, with some of their body shots like snapping in. But yeah, like you say, she's just got the biggest heart. And then this is the final round. It wasn't the round. I think I wanted that big explosive last round, like we saw against Serrano. Now, I think Katie knew it was very close and was holding a lot, because what she done well to win the round was she would throw a flurry and then just hold until she got told not to hold anymore. And I think that's what won her the round. But you could even see Chantelle getting quite frustrated.
Yeah.
As I think with fans, it wasn't like, I'm not, you've got to do what you've got to do to try and win. And I think Katie knew she was like, she was having to win this last round.
I remember that.
Success.
The last the last 30 seconds to a minute, I was waiting for it to ramp up.
Yeah.
And it just kept on, like you say, and it wasn't quite getting to where he wanted it to.
Yeah. So this is it. I've just got this small clip because it highlights it perfect. You've got Katie throwing, I think, 6 shots there, and then just holds on.
Yeah.
And then they get separated. And then, to be fair to Katie, she'd come in again, attack, throw another 6, just a bit wild. So again, it's very hard to see what's landing, because they're certainly not all landing. And then she'd hold on again. And again, that's where there was a couple more headbutts that weren't really necessary. And I think if it wasn't the 10th round, if that was maybe round 5, I think she might have gotten a bit of trouble for that. Because the ref was very, very good. And I think, she was starting to get a bit frustrated with the holding herself. But like someone's just put, actually it was maybe not, but it was more like a bully round for Katie Taylor, that 10th round, where she was just trying, in a way, bullying her, using her head, because she seems to like to do that a little bit, and then like lunging herself on. But it worked, because I think every judge gave her that round, actually, when I've looked at the scorecards.
Yeah.
But
I gave to her, yeah.
It wasn't enough. So when that final bell went, obviously you've got Chantelle Cameron winning 6-4. Was you convinced that she would get the result then?
Oh, no. Being boxing, anything can happen. They could have given it all rounds to Katie. I wouldn't be surprised, just because of that happens, doesn't it? So until they said those scores, anything happened. So it didn't surprise me. One of them was a draw because you know what they're like.
Yeah.
I was actually pleasantly surprised then when they did
Yeah.
do the stick forward, the two cards, and they gave it to Chantelle. I mean, like, there was a few people that made comments like that saying they gave the right result. Like, I think people were surprised.
It's so sad. Yeah. Like, I tweeted saying I've got it 7-3, but I still think, I think it was coming into the last round and I was like, I have it, I must have had it 7-2 to Chantelle Cameron coming into the last round. And I still put Chantelle Cameron needs a knockout to get the win because I was just so convinced. And then sitting there in the first score is 95. And I was like, no way. And Nigel Travis turned around because he couldn't even look at that point. God love him. And he just looked like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. Like, because as soon as you hear that, you know it's not 95. And it was like 96-94, both judges. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to give it to Katie Taylor. They're actually going to give it to Katie Taylor. And I'm glad, not because I don't like Katie Taylor, because part of me is like, you want the dream homecoming. But it's just not meant to be, is it? You know, Katie Taylor, it just wasn't meant to be. And I'm so glad that the right person got that win.
And like you say, it's just not meant to be. She picked the toughest opponent, in my opinion, she could have picked for a homecoming.
Yeah.
She just had, and that shows a lot about Katie as well, as to what kind of fighter she is, and respect to her for that. So I just think there's no shame in it. It was a great fight, a fight of the year contender for me. So loved every second of it. So, hats off to her. It was still a great homecoming, in my opinion.
Yeah, and 100%. I think everything about it was amazing. And like I say, you can't always get the wins. It is what it is. But was there too much pressure on Katie coming into this, with it being the big homecoming, with her having to have waited her entire career after everything she's achieved for this homecoming?
Can I just stop you for a second? You're very crackly with your voice. I don't know whether that's coming across to everybody or whether it's just me. So if anyone can make a comment now to Sasha, is it crackly for everyone else or is it just me? Is anyone making any comments?
Let's see. I can hear crackle now.
Because every time you talk, it sounds very crackly.
Right. Well, we're going to get that fixed.
Yeah. Maybe we can continue to say, but
Right, wait then. Oh yeah, people can hear it.
Okay. Oh, they can hear the crackle.
Yeah.
I thought they're like, oh, I can hear you. That's fine. Oh yeah, it's crackling there. I don't know why then.
Right. Suzy, take over. I'm coming off and coming back on.
Right. Am I going to hold the fort?
You're holding the fort. I'll be back.
Right. Well, here I am holding the fort now. Let's hope there's no crackles when Sasha comes back. Right. Let's see. Come on, Sasha. Here we go. Oh, you're back.
Am I crackly?
I think it sounds better. Can you speak a bit more?
No. Right. Am I still crackly?
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
How strange. Right. I'm back. So my point was before, because this is something I've wondered, is Katie was very emotional, I thought, all week, even in kind of in a good way, but also was it too much? Do you know what I mean? Like, if she hadn't had to wait all this time for this homecoming, it should have still been an Ireland, but this should have just been another big fight in Ireland. I think it's all so much where, you could tell with the ring walk, she's literally taking it all in.
Yeah.
Like, has she lost the head of it?
You know what? I think with someone like Katie, she's been in so many big fights now. She's been the centre of attention for so long. She's had been the number one female boxing for so long in terms of being the most well known, being the person that gets sort of the most attention. Everyone always almost like godlike, isn't she, in boxing?
Yeah.
She's been so long, but I don't think it would. I think someone else maybe, but not Katie. Special homecoming and everything. I don't think it was that. I felt like she still put on a pretty great performance, if I'm honest. I just think that Chantelle was that much better.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Performance similar to, say, against Serrano or someone like that. I don't see there much difference, if I'm honest. So I do feel like just Chantelle was just better on the night.
Yeah. No, I agree. Am I crackly again?
Yeah, just started crackling again.
Okay. Right, while I fix that then. So here's a question. Is Chantelle... That crackling's going to annoy me though. Wait there. Is Chantelle pound for pound number 1?
We're back again then. For me personally, I'd still put Clarissa ahead at number 1. Probably Chantelle at number 2. And then after that it gets a little bit hazy because you've still got then obviously Katie, Amanda. I mean, there's some great fighters. I love the fact that we've got so much of a debate going on now and so many great fighters in the top few. I know we've been texting each other, so you've got some different ideas to me. So
yeah, I mean, why am I still crackly?
Oh yeah, you're really crackly actually. What's going on tonight?
Is it my Wi-Fi? Have I got cheap Wi-Fi now? Right, wait there.
Anything, phone or anything nearby? Or...
I've switched my microphone. What am I like now?
Yeah, it's still crackly.
Okay. Wait there. You'll have to give me a minute.
Okay. And then we're going to wait, see what your number 1 is.
Yeah, we're just going to build the suspense. Okay, am I still crackly?
That sounds better.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe I've got cheap Wi-Fi tonight.
And again, it's coming back. Because you say one thing and it sounds clearer, more sort of crackles. You're frozen now as well, maybe? You going to come back, Sasha? There you are.
Am I back?
Are you back?
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Am I crackly?
No, you're fine at the moment. Let's go. Choose your number 1.
Okay, right. While I'm fine, I am going to put... I don't know if I'm brave enough to say this, actually.
You're going to get stick for this? Is this what you're worried about?
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous, actually. I'm going to put Chantelle Cameron at number 1, with Shields at number 2. And my reasoning behind it, because we're talking about what's happened like now, aren't we? When you're rating all of these fighters, you can't always take into account. Like I know Clarissa's has an amazing amateur career. She's a 3-weight world champion, a 2-weight undisputed champion. But at the minute, if you look at what's happened in the last, several months, Chantelle Cameron has faced 2 undisputed champions back to back in different weights and defended her titles in her weight. So for that, I have to put her at number 1 with Clarissa at number 2, Katie at 3, Amanda at 4.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That's what I'm going for, and I'm sticking with it.
And I think it's fair enough. I think there's definitely an argument for that, like you say.
But yeah, I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. I'm going to be brave and stick it. On that, I think it was Lineal Boxing that put out Clarissa versus Chantelle.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
No.
No?
Won't happen.
But is that a fight you'd like to see?
No.
No. Why? Is there a reason or
different weights? It's not the same weight.
But the fact that someone like Baumgardner can come up a couple of weights fight, you know, you've got Terry and Jonas going up however many weights. Actually, there's not that much weight difference between Chantelle and Clarissa for the lowest that Clarissa's fought, because she was obviously undisputed super welter. So that's only a couple up. So if there was a catch weight, that could happen.
No. I know. I think they are just two really good fighters, two amazing fighters, world-class fighters who are just in different divisions.
Mm-hmm.
We would never have seen Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields.
No.
And remember, Chantelle's a natural lightweight.
Yeah, that is true. But it's just, I think what annoys me a little bit with the whole situation is when you've got fans sort of saying what fights they would like and wouldn't like, and they pick and choose depending on their favourite fighters as to who gets what advantage. Because you've got, say, Serrano going up weights all the time and having a fair disadvantage with her size. And yet, you've got other fighters where you're like, oh no, I don't want them going up a couple of weight divisions because they'll be at so much of a disadvantage. So I just think sometimes it's a case of people picking and choosing as to who they want their favourite fighters to face, as to what disadvantages they face. I think the thing is with boxing, people do go up and down a lot. You wouldn't necessarily get so much of a jump in the men's, or you get scenarios with like Canelo, him going against Bivol, so and then losing because the weight. So yeah, there obviously is disadvantages with this whole jumping around weight thing, but I don't think it's as ridiculous as some people make it out when you've got other fighters doing it sort of lower down, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Am I crackly again?
Yeah, you are, yeah.
Okay. Well, I disagree with you. While I'm crackly, I think what we're going to do is leave everything else till next week.
Okay.
And come back and address some stuff next week while I'm crackly, and I'll ring my internet provider tomorrow. Because it's the only thing I can think of, because I'm only on 2 bars rather than 4.
Okay, so you think it's the internet?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm on 2 bars. So we will address the rest next week. And we'll talk about Terry Harper next week as well, because she would have had her fight.
Yeah, but great fight. I'm very surprised at this one, because I thought there was just going to be a last minute whoever they could get just to keep her in the ring. But no, one excellent matchup.
Very, very good. And if I'm not crackly, what I will say, obviously she was meant to fight Jessica McCaskill. So I would love to see or hear what has gone on, because that was due for a few months' time, McCaskill and Nirvana. So I'd like to know what's happened. But I'm very happy for Terry Harper to get this fight. Another big name, former 2-weight world champion. Yeah, I'm impressed. But yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Some people have embraced the crackle, but it's doing my head in. So because it's all I can hear. So we're gonna cut it short this week.
I'm waiting on bated breath as to what your argument is as to no to Clarissa Chantelle.
You'll have to wait till next week now. You'll have to wait till next week. And we do have more to talk about, but like we've got the rematch, we've got lots going on, but we'll do it next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Short and sweet. First week back.
Short and, yeah. Ooh, Jack's got some gossip. Jack, come back next week. Right, I'm going to sort my internet out, and we will see everyone next week.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.